What inspired me to become a diesel tech was actually sort of a journey through. I started as a marine technician actually, and I worked on boats, building aluminum jet boats for a while, but ran out of work there, and I was like 18 at the time, fresh out of high school. Couldn't find another boat job, moved into automotives, and then from automotives, a lot of the attractive vehicles you see on the road are diesels, and that's where I decided to go. Did my time as all mechanics do as tires, so I started at Canadian Tire, and then from there I moved to Toyota. After Toyota, I went to Tireland, and they do more mechanic stuff than tires, and specifically the location I was at was heavy duty, so I was starting to cross train onto semi-trucks, and semis are kinda a hassle to work on. The rust on your medium duty truck on the road is nothing compared to those things. So my dad actually has been a long time customer here, and he suggested, well, why don't you drop off a resume there? And I was like, you know, that's a good idea. There's more money in diesel than gas, and it's not as gnarly to work on as semis. And then I landed myself here. What I love most about my team here, I mean, first off, they're just all great people. I love that we socialize outside of work together. You know, all unique personalities. Everybody is, you know, just a really good person. As an apprentice, what I can say I love about my team here is you are hard pressed to find a place with guys who can teach you more, with more knowledge and experience under their belts than here. It is not easy to find out there always, and I really appreciate the fact that I get to work with so many really skilled and experienced guys. My favorite part about working on diesel engines as opposed to gassers is they're usually, for 90% of things, you have a lot more space, whereas gassers, like I always said, a great secondary career choice for an automotive technician is a circus contortionist, because you're always doing this and trying to squeak through these spots that you can't get to, and there's a little bit of that on diesels. You can't get away from it, but for the most part, it's just a lot more zen to work on. They're simple in nature at their core. Obviously, we're getting a lot more technologically advanced and complicated these days, but to their core, they're still very simple, good designed engines. So what makes S&M Diesel stand out as a workplace to me is that, you know, it's essentially at its core mom and pop shop. So Shalena and Hendrik run the place, and there's a lot of good things that come out of that. I mean, they're both brilliant people at what they do in their own rights. Secondly, the fact that they're private, you know, no more waiting on the corporate chain of command. You're not allowed to do anything until someone has written a script at corporate places. Here, we take a good look and we're gonna figure out the best and fastest way to do something and then get it done. So how I keep motivated to keep on honing my craft and getting better at what I do is every time you have a challenge, it would be great for that to not even be a challenge the next time. You just know what you're doing, you got a system, goes smooth. That's mainly, I'd say, my top goal there. But aside from that, it's very easy to stay motivated to improve my craft when I'm working around the people I do. My bay is right beside Jake's. If that doesn't light a fire under your ass for, you know, being able to really find the efficient, perfect way to get something done, I don't think nothing will. What I think most people don't realize about my job as a diesel tech, and I'll be more specific, my job as a diesel apprentice technician, there is a lot of studying and reflecting on your jobs off the clock. You're not done at 5 and totally put it away. I care about what I do and I want to keep getting better, and definitely a lot of time writing notes, looking stuff up, There's a lot of that in the back rooms of the shop that people don't see. I am always happy to work on Cummins. They're just really designed with the tech in mind for the most part. There's no parts usually bolted up that are, impossible to get to without taking a million things off. I really appreciate that about their design, and I think I'm even starting to warm up to some of the European vehicles. European engines are extremely over-engineered. They are the masters of putting in something extra. And I really did not like Euro, but I'm starting to warm up to it because it started off as me being the apprentice, and no one else really wants to do the European vehicles because they are so complicated, and it kept just getting passed to me. So I think it's kind of started to etch me my own unique spot of what I offer. So I think for that reason, something that I did not like initially, I am starting to like European vehicles. How my work contributes to helping customers, I think there's two main things. And I mean, the easy surface level one is that anyone has their vehicle broken down. You need your vehicle for all sorts of things, but getting them back on the road always feels good. And even more than that, if you look at the bigger scheme of things, we work on so many oil field trucks, and I mean, I'm blue collar and I know where a lot of the money in this province comes from, and a lot of these guys are the backbone, and I love being able to be a part of making sure they stay afloat, and then in turn they can help keep all of us afloat. Outside of work, I'm pretty young, but I'm a father to 3, and so love spending time with my kids. I got 3 girls. I've got them into Pokemon. We like to play some video games together, watch movies. I'm a musician. If it's an instrument, I probably play it, or I will in the future. I have never been able to keep my hands off of one. I love figuring out how they work and teaching myself, so I play a lot of music too, yeah. The one piece of advice I'd give to someone aspiring to be a diesel tech is the advice that I got. And what I got a lot at the start was put your purse down. These aren't little cars anymore. They sometimes take a little bit of extra persuasion, and what it takes to get some of these things apart is a running start and a 10-pound sledge. And yeah, put your purse down if you're gonna work on these trucks. Dream build for a customer, I'd say probably the best one that I can pull from here. I mean, a longtime customer of ours with the pounder welding truck, he's expressed interest to try and get that thing to go to SEMA eventually, and I'd love to have some hand in that. That would be so cool to get him the truck he really wants and get it where he wants, and also be able to say that I worked on a truck that ended up at SEMA. Number one thing I would ask customers to help us serve them better is, especially for diagnosing intermittent concerns, the more information, the better. Particularly noises and feelings of like vibrations, clunking, shuddering, all of that good stuff. If it doesn't happen all the time and we're not 100% gonna get it to replicate for us, we need to know what to do with the truck to get it to replicate. So that means be a good documentation artist. Have a notepad out or your phone handy-ish, so that whenever you stop the drive, you have the mental notes, you unload them, and that could look like, my clunk occurs going over bumps, even more turning right but not left for whatever reason. Engine speed is X, the vehicle speed is X, it was at this temperature, and it doesn't always have to be that detailed if you know what information we're going to need, but if you don't know what information we're going to need, trust me, it's always better to include more than less.